Thank you for joining the Syndicate Network and your host, Skywalker the Jedi. Skywalker the Jedi.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? It is your boy Skywalker the Jedi back at y'all with another one. Y'all could be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here with me rocking out, and I appreciate that. Much love to all the Syndicate Network out there and our colleagues. Much love that y'all report in, man. I can't wait. We got a very, very special stream in store for you guys. This should be a great conversation, and I can't wait to get to it. We got the homie Mysterious Stranger in the building. We got DC Talk in the building. We got Asthmatic, W. Mir, Dennis Medina, right? Douglas Murphy, Jamar 412, Harrison, Nessa Noel. Thank you so much for being here, Nessa. Right? Antonio Lopez. You know what I mean? All y'all pouring in. Venkata, Bat Dan Starts. What's going on, Bat Dan? Yeah, bro. Rebel Moon Theory's in the house. What's going on, Rebel Moon Theory? Y'all be sure to go over there and get that channel a like and subscribe. And check out that latest video on Princess Issa. That got some love from Issa herself. You dig? Much love, Mama Bear Doll. Thank you for being here so much. Thank you, Mama Bear. Who else is in here? We got Sin Havoc 5150 in the house. We got Sean Franklin in the building. We got Crown Loads in the building. All y'all, man. Much love. We got Belle Reeve in the building. What's going on, Belle? Socrates is in the building. Frank C. Right? That breaking story from last night broke the net. Bro, we gonna talk about it because that information was there and wasn't nobody covering it. And all of a sudden, you think we ain't gonna talk about that? But what's going on, Frank C? Much love, man. Let's go ahead and get through this little opening rigmarole so we can get started with the show. You dig? Y'all be sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe as we're on the road to 5K. Trying to hit 5K before the end of the year. You dig? And shout out to everybody that has been rocking out with the platform and everybody that will be rocking out going into the future. We're trying to give you guys some good information while keeping you entertained at the same time. You dig? You should know we are the creators, the originators, the OGs, the CEOs, right? The founders, founding fathers, right? Whatever you want to call it, the hashtag SalesZSJL, hashtag sales Snyderverse, the Netflix movement. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know where these conversations started from. Y'all know, man. Yeah, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. And if you do want to rock out and see that conclusion of Zack Snyder's DC arc over on the Netflix platform, we only ask 3 rules of engagement, which are: be positive, please do not mix the hashtags, and also please do not tag, mention, quote, tweet, reply to, or anything of that nature anybody over at WBD, which is including but not limited to James Gunn. ZSJL to Netflix on YouTube and X are also platforms that you guys should be following and subscribe to, as all pertinent information will be coming from there, as well as myself at Apex Lux of the New Geeks. You dig? And if you would like to sponsor a stream like Crown Lowe's did, whenever you guys give super chats, super thanks, gifted memberships, super stickers, anything of that sort, it is tallied up, and whoever donates the most will have their name scrolling across the bottom of a following stream. You dig? All right. Now that we caught up with the chat again, he said we're destroying narratives one day at a time, bro. One day at a time. Not only do I got the homie Apex Lux in the building, you want to go ahead and say what's up with him, Apex Lux?
Yo, welcome back to Skywalker Entertainment.
Hey.
Brought to you by the Syndicate Network. Thank y'all for showing up. Yeah, that's right. Damn right. The founding fathers didn't have it. The founding fathers. That's right.
He said beaming in straight from apocalypse, bro.
Oh, man.
Bro. Hey, telling you, man. Then why do you summon me?
Right.
Right.
Why do you summon me? Facts, bro. Shout out to the chat. Mama Bear, I see you. Rebel Moon Theory, I see you. Antonio, what up?
Yes. But look, bro, it ain't even just us, y'all, because we got a very, very special guest. Ain't that right, Apex Lux?
Absolutely.
Man, y'all might have heard this gentleman. We covered him on that space. You know what I'm saying? We had to run that back, and we ran it back on the stream, right?
Absolutely.
And it was a wonderful thing. We had to get him on the platform. You know what I mean? And we got the homie, the one, the only, Nar the Misfit is in the building. What's going on, Nar? How you feeling, bro?
Yo, I'm feeling good. What's good, everyone? How y'all doing?
Hey, we feeling good, man. Hey, first of all, I want to thank you, bro, for coming on the platform. I know that you've been a little under the weather, you know what I'm saying? And I just want to say first and foremost, thank you for coming on, bro, because it's a pleasure to have you on.
Yo, I appreciate y'all having me on, be honest. You know, I watch y'all streams all the time, and I, like I said, I be flowing on the conversations here and there and seeing what's going on. So it's a pleasure being on here with you guys.
For sure, that's what's up. Man. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, yo. The chat loved hearing us cover that space, so it's really dope to have you on the platform live, and they can ask you questions and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Because they was going ham in the chat, bro.
Yeah, I think I was present during the stream when y'all was going over it, so I was in there communicating a few. But yeah, it's different being on the stream in person. Yeah. You know.
For sure, bro. And first and foremost, man, thank you for even showing up to that space and doing what you did. Because I don't know if you kind of realize this, but Leon and I talk about that all the time, bro. And just how clutch that moment was, bro. Because like that was such a pivotal thing, and it was a very pivotal conversation, and it could have went either way. And I was just glad that you kind of came through and did what you did, bro. And it kind of clarified for everybody, and it gave them that other perspective that they very much so needed, right?
Right. Yeah, I like I said, I normally kind of stay quiet on these things, and that day just, I don't know, something got in me, bro. I was like, wait, what's going on here? Like, what is this person saying? Nah, I think I need to add a little input into this. I didn't know it was gonna be that impactful when I first jumped on there. And then I just went off, bro.
It very much was, and very much invited too, because you know that guy was talking like he knew, like he was just so sure of everything he was saying, and that we were so wrong. And then you could tell he felt back into a corner he was like, shit, now I gotta be the ones leading them down a path, and it just wasn't working. And then when you came through, you debunked literally everything he was saying. It was a master class, you know what I mean?
Masterclass, bro, for sure.
Yeah, it was crazy, bro.
Right. Shouts out to Crown Loads. Thanks for the $10 super chat, man. Bro, we appreciate that. Let me go ahead and give you this drop, bro. We appreciate the support. You know what I mean? Where's my drop? Oh, let's see. Wait, stuff getting moved around back here. Hold on.
What are they doing here?
They're selling, Mortimer.
Well, that's ridiculous. Unless that crop report... God help us! I told you we shouldn't have committed everything, you asshole!
I've got to get Wilson and tell him to sell.
Wilson, where are you going?
Oh, you idiots! Get back in there at once and sell! Sell!
But
Thanks, Crown Lows. Thanks, Crown Lows. That was hitting a little different just now, wasn't it, Leon?
Hell yeah.
Get back in there and sell, bro. Right now, what we here to talk about today, man, and I'm so glad we were able to have Nar on for this conversation. Is I am under the impression that Zack was always destined to come back to DC, bro. This was always gonna happen, man. Like, I mean, how long have we been saying, Leon? Like, dread it, run from it, bro. Destiny still arrives.
Yep.
All of the tea leaves have been there, and even though we did take a little bit of a step back with the Henry Cavill getting fired situation, I don't want to quote Jurassic Park, but I mean, life finds a way, right?
Life finds a way.
Where there's a will, there is a way, and we definitely found one. And it seems like we're really about to witness that whole thing come to fruition with this Netflix purchasing WBD situation. Leon?
Oh, my fault.
All good, bro.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is that. And it's funny to me how, not to lead off this conversation on my end talking about haters, but it's just funny to me, like, the leader of this entire thing should be Zack Snyder, right? Whether he's doing it in a stealthily way or outright just saying things, right? We've always kind of read what he's done and his cryptic nature, and we've always found the fun in that, right? Like when he retweets some hashtags or likes something, we've always known that he's sending a message, and then all of a sudden, when what we have created in our hashtags come to fruition and come about, it's all of a sudden like, I don't know what these things mean, and what's Zack Snyder talking about, or does he really want to come back? It's all these weird, very strange questions. But no, for a long time now, he has been rocking out with us in his own way, right? And a lot of times it's been directly when asked, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And just, I think just in general, this idea and this thing was too big, bro, for it to not have found some type of way. And this is where I want to get Nar in. One, have you heard about this Netflix and WBD situation? What are your thoughts on that? And then two, how do you think that plays into Zack coming back or not to DC?
Yeah, I mean, definitely heard about what's going on with Warner Brothers in the sale. I mean, like, you could just look at the situation, right? Like, when you first heard about the sale, you heard, Paramount wants to make, or Skydance wants to make a purchase, and then, like, they want to buy the whole thing, right? And then everybody's kind of like, this is a way for us to get this Snyderverse back and things like that, and there's a possibility there, right? But then I also saw an article, maybe like a day, maybe it was the same day, or maybe it was the day after, that Netflix was also,
I think it was the next day. Yeah.
next day, right? And Netflix was also in the running, but it was kind of like it was sort of like, it was like one article or maybe a few articles. It wasn't even a big thing. It wasn't even a big conversation. There was really no conversation around it. Everybody was focused on Paramount. But when I noticed that, I'm like, it seems like the news for Paramount is a bigger story for some weird reason. And then shortly after that, we've heard that Netflix is considering bidding for Warner Brothers. They don't really tell the detail. They're not saying if it's all of it, if it's just the Warner side of it. And now we have certain creators speaking on that, even though this information was out there prior. And my theory was always that was just to drive up the sale. The Paramount news was to drive up the sale for
Exactly.
Netflix or anybody else who's considered. I don't think, honestly, to my opinion, I don't think that Paramount wants to buy Warner Brothers. They just didn't know. Skydance just purchased Paramount. So why would they want to then go and buy another theatrical studio, distribution studio? Like, that's my opinion on it. I don't think that they're really in considering. I think this is one of those situations where Zaslav is sitting on the golf course, the guy at Skydance is sitting on the golf course, and they're like, hey, I can drive that sale up for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, my opinion, honestly, I think that it should go to Netflix. I mean, I was down for Universal, but right now the conversation, I think Universal may be spoken of, but they're not really in the conversation. But I do think that it should go to Netflix. And honestly, if it goes to Netflix, that is the biggest chance for us to get more DC from Zack's vision than to go back into the Hollywood machine and have to fight through whatever happened with Zack in Hollywood after what happened after he left Warner Brothers. To think giving DC to another Hollywood studio and saying, hey, then we can convince them to bring Zack back when Zack is already at Netflix. It's the craziest logic that
And they said that they wanted it too, Nar. Yeah. So it's not even just like,
right,
like Zack's there. It's like they also said they wanted it, right?
Right. And I think it was Scott Stuber that came out and was like, absolutely, yeah, if we can get the DC license, then we can definitely toss it to Zack and let Zack do what he has to do, right? And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, well, Scott's not there no more, and Dan Lin is there, and Dan Lin said things about Snyder fans, and I don't think people understand that doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Just to put it simply, right?
Bro. Thank you, dog. Because bro, somebody brought that up in the chat the other day, and it's like, no disrespect. I was like, bro, come on, man. Like we way past bots, bro. We way past him calling us bots, bro.
Yeah, it's like, you think that they sit in a room with people everybody they make a deal with somebody they like.
Bro,
I'm not saying
that was at the Rebel Moon.
Right. I saw him in a video walking. Cuts. Yes, he was at the Egyptian Theater, I believe it was.
Yes, it was. Right where we was at. Look,
yep.
Right?
And I'm not speaking for Dan Lin or anybody, but because I've seen people sit in rooms with people they don't like. And it's all about working a business, and I'm not saying that he dislikes Snyder. I don't think he dislikes Snyder at all. I've never even heard that story. There was some rumblings about him not liking a fan base, but at the end of the day, who cares about that, right? If you can make money off of somebody, you can make money off of a fan base. You think Disney likes the Star Wars fan base?
That's
actually a great
that is
point.
such a great point, bro.
Yeah, and it's their fan base. Like they created that fan base.
think Kathleen Kennedy likes the Star Wars fan base, bro.
Yeah. Like,
really, honestly,
you think that when they hired Kathleen Kennedy and Kathleen Kennedy came out with the Force is female, she knew that she wasn't gonna piss off 90% of the Star Wars fan base doing that, right? Like, so to think that like, oh yeah, we need to like our fan base, we need to like this person's fan base to work with this person is ridiculous, right? That's an excuse coming from Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers never wanted to continue the vision of Snyder because they didn't want Snyder's vision. This is my opinion, but they didn't want Snyder's vision to be the definitive vision for DC, right?
Yeah, they probably wanted something simpler and easier because you know the rumor that we found out that was more reality than rumor was that they're trying to ramp up to do the DC versus Marvel crossover.
Right.
Yeah. So they were like, we can't do that with Zack's vision. It's way too detailed, stylized, and epic. We need something that's simplified, you know.
And also, even on a deeper level, they're trying to drive the sales of their comic books, right? And if Superman isn't molded, like he isn't moldable to like fit whatever version of Superman that they have in the comic books, that's a problem, right? That's what they're thinking, right? But then their sales don't go up and they make a darker version of Superman in the absolute universe, and that's the sale that goes up, right? So so it's like
they're actually onto something, because they literally changed up their entire brand in 2011 before they started doing the DCEU. They changed their brand up for New 52 because they knew they were doing, because they wanted everything to in the comic books to have a more cinematic viewpoint. So they were trying to change the comic books so that it could be interchangeable to match, like the movies match the comics match the movies. So yeah, that's actually a great point.
Right. And if you have a movie franchise that's making so much money and it's not in the same vision as the comic books that you're basing them on, some people may have an issue with that, right? Because these writers, their jobs is reliant on them being able to sell comic books, right? And if Scott Snyder is the only one selling comic books, then you have a bunch of them running out of there and getting kicked out of there. Jeff Johns, right? Like these people. Jeff Johns started, like I said, he issued in the New 52 and then abandoned it when he started getting backlash and tried to push a hope and optimism onto the DCEU, right? You don't get that kind of movement if people are not scared of their jobs, right?
Absolutely.
Hope, optimism, and heroics, right?
Yeah.
Hope, heroics, and optimism. Yeah.
Hope, heroics, and optimism.
Him and Kevin Smith were on that one special that they did on CW talking about it, because he was trying to be like the Kevin Feige for DC.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were introducing, they were showing all these the storyboard art and the concept art for like the upcoming Justice League. Man, you taking me back.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just to go back to Netflix, like I think that honestly, I see a lot of conversation around like what will Netflix do if they acquire Warner Brothers, right? And then the fear-mongering that I know you guys didn't see the John Campea video, so I'm not going to speak on it too much. But one of the fear-mongering arguments that was presented in that video, which is also online anyway, is that Netflix is going to just make everything streaming, right? And it's like, well, not even getting into the argument of like they have their own theaters, but why would you purchase a film studio
and make it theaters?
Right. I mean, take the IP,
make it streaming. Come on, bro.
Destroy the studio and then just throw everything on Netflix, right? Like they're not going to. Like, you think they're going to do that to HBO? Like they're just going to get rid of HBO?
No,
right.
Real quick, I said the same thing, literally almost verbatim to Sky before we started streaming today. I was like, because I'm online, pretty much kind of debunking this sort of fear mongering, as you put it, and that's actually a great way to put it, because that's what it is. It's like I see people with genuine concerns, right? And they're kind of extrapolating their thoughts in a way that's genuine. They're not like they're not pulling out their hair and sweating. They're just asking questions. Then I see others who are just like absolutely freaking the fuck out, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, because if you scoop up a brand, and y'all know I've been using ItGaff. If I got ItGaff Studios, right, and I just bought up the majority, if not the whole, of Warner Brothers, I'm not then going to just sit on that and shove it into streaming. I'm going to make it physical media, because guess what? Now I make a profit off of this physical media. It's not like I don't make a dime, and it's not like my streaming platform just goes away with the dinosaurs. No, my streaming platform is still there. It still has original content that has absolutely nothing to do with the thing I just purchased. Plus, I can also double down on physical media, and also people who are just not necessarily lazy, but people just like the access of clicking on something. I know people right now that own a whole collection of movies, and they still click on the streaming platform to watch those same movies that they pay for.
Right. I do the same thing.
Everyone does it.
And then if somebody come over, that's when you break out the 4K.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's when
Facts.
you break out the Big Daddy, right? But yeah, no, absolutely.
So now all of a sudden we're acting like
I do
we
it
don't
too.
understand theater culture, physical media culture, and streaming culture. We all play in all those sandboxes, and our minds know what's up.
To scratch my 4Ks, bro. Keep taking that thing in and out the box.
Facts.
What you talking about? That's when company come over.
Mama Bear.
Company. Right? Hold up. Let me get to the super chat from the good Austin. Saying, much love, boys. I need a shout out like every 30 minutes. 2 more hours of driving before my B-Day weekend starts. Let's go, Syndicate and ZSSM. Man, much love to the good Austin.
Happy early birthday, bro.
Yo, happy early birthday, bro.
The Flash of the Syndicate Network, bro. The reason why this channel looks so icy. You know what I'm saying? Much love, bro. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and give you this drop. You know what I mean? Thanks for the support.
Hold on, Drake. You ain't gonna say nothing else before, we continue the party?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna just need a moment of silence for this. Psst. I see dead people.
Mustard on a beat, how deep, bro. Any rap nigga, he a freak, though. Man down, call an ambulance, tell him breathe, bro. Nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like, what's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me, fuck them all in they mama. How many op really got? Mean it's too many options. Finish pass on his body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogie man, I'm the one that up the score with him. Walking down, whole time I know he got some pulling him, extra shit, bully devouring him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they're in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand me down. And party at the party playing with his notes now. And Bobby got a real case, why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified pedophile. Drop, fuck him up. I'ma do my stuff. Why you calling like a bitch, ain't you? Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably they not like us. 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 They not like us.
The Great One, 50,000 more worlds. He will hear your plea when you pay your debt.
All right. Thanks for the super chat and the 50 likes. You dig? Had to get both of them drops in. But yeah, man, I'm loving the way that this conversation is going, and I totally agree with everything that you gentlemen have been saying. I do want to say though, Nar, I have heard that Netflix is trying to buy the whole thing. It's not just a WB or DC thing. I mean, like that they want the entire taco. You know what I'm saying? With all the trimmings. They said, yo, like, I'm not coming in here for half. I'm coming back for everything. Right? Yeah. And this really is a situation where I think that they're going to use this whole situation to kind of Trojan horse themselves into the theaters. I mean, I had an entire stream breaking this down, but I think that having Zack Snyder's Justice League and something that can instantly go on IMAX is a great boon to them. It like they have that, like, and Netflix struggled to have their own superhero content after Daredevil and all that stuff was gone. Jupiter Legacy came and went, right? And they didn't really do anything else in that space ever since then, right? So this gives them their own thing that they know that they have a built-in fan base and it's ready to go. This thing was already on their platforms in other countries, like over in some European countries, like I believe Germany. So they know what kind of numbers that this thing was doing, right? And they've been buying more theaters. They're opening these Netflix houses. They're opening more studio space. It's like this whole, like, it's staring us all in the face.
That's actually, because I want Nara to respond to that, but I'm just going to throw this out there and say that's actually a fantastic fucking illustration of points that you just said, bro. I've been thinking about like the Marvel angle, but everything you just said, I've completely forgot about all those other superhero and comic book ventures that they dove into. Didn't they have Millar World?
Yeah. That was part of what Jupiter's Legacy was, right? Yeah.
So they would love to get something.
And like that was one season, bro.
Yep.
And they sunk a whole bunch of money into that. And I think that you know, is that didn't do what they needed it to. And now you have a built-in fan base ready to go. And you can put something in theaters where Chronicles of Narnia from Greta Gerwig is going into theaters. Y'all think
is that going into full theaters? Is that
going into IMAX?
So it's just the IMAX, or is it like something like, is it like how when Zack released Rebel Moon in theaters, or
no? I think that this is going to be bigger because it's IMAX, so it's probably going to be more locations. Because Netflix, I don't believe that they have any IMAX locations because the Egyptian is not an IMAX.
Right.
Not at all. Like, so I don't know where else that they would have it, right? I mean, it would have to be at some other theaters. So I'm guessing that this thing's probably going to have a wider release.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to, I just never really looked into it, and I didn't know if it was going to be like a limited kind of like 2-week thing, or if it's going to be,
even if it's 2 weeks, like if it's 2 weeks, but you know, I mean, hey, if they give everybody 2 weeks to go see the Snyder Cut, I don't think that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it was just like them getting it for the streaming and them not buying the company, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they just licensed it, even if it was like a 2-week thing and hey, it's going to go to the theater, I mean, the streaming after that, I'd be cool with that, right? Just give everybody a chance to see it in IMAX. That has an IMAX that's, yep. He said neither is Paris Theater. So yeah, none of the and they have another theater called the Tadum Theater, which is where we saw Twilight of the Gods at. That's not IMAX either. So it can't be any Netflix screens that they're going to be showing those on.
Right. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Can't be.
Before I speak on that, I do want to kind of double back and just make sure that it's very clear that I'm not calling the Snyderverse fandom toxic or like agreeing that it was toxic. I know how these things get clipped.
Oh yeah, no. Go ahead.
But yeah, I'm not saying that the Snyderverse fandom is toxic or that whatever. I do not even believe that the Snyderverse fandom is toxic in any way. They're passionate. We're passionate about what we want, but we're disruptors, and that's what the toxic comes from. Right? It's the idea of just call somebody just, you know, I said this before, just making something nuclear so nobody else wants to attach themselves to it. Right? And when you're disrupting people's workflows and how the ideas they need to put out there and the marketing, things like that, that's where the problem comes in. It has nothing to do with toxicity. Right?
Thank you, Nar, for that term, because I've been using it, bro. Pitch decks, bro, has been key Oh
Right.
my God.
Somebody's pitch deck was hope and optimism, and the Snyderverse fandom was destructive.
And which one won? No, I'm just joking.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, just to double back on Netflix and in the theaters and what they will do with Warner Brothers. Yeah, I definitely think they will use it as one of their arms for theatrical. And if it was me, or if my opinion on the situation is that if they purchase Warner Brothers, they're going to use HBO as their TV arm, Netflix is the streaming, and then Warner is the theatrical and distribution for theatrical. These things are already in play.
Sounds nice and clean, right?
Right. And like these things are already in play. They got people hired there already. They got execs. They got certain people. Obviously, some people will be let go and new people will be moved in. But these operations are already moving. You get what I'm trying to say? And like, why would a streaming service not want to buy if they want to, like you said, Trojan horse their way into the theater systems in Hollywood, which Hollywood has been keeping them out of.
Absolutely.
This is the best way for them to do it, right? You get a studio that has distribution and production and all this other stuff, and you just bring them onto the fold. And when somebody's merging or buying anything, right? There's two things that happen. There's you want to dissolve the company because the company is a threat to you, or you don't need the company there, or you want to expand your company with that company, right? Let's say I've been using this example. It's like Disney bought Spotlight to dissolve it, bro. Like they got Spotlight, they took the Marvel characters they want from it. They took whatever they needed from it, and then Spotlight puts out like maybe 4 movies, and we don't even know what those movies are anymore.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's just part of the game, right? If your business isn't making enough money, you run the risk of being, conquered by another company, right?
Yeah.
Take out the competition. That's just part of the game, right? And to think that Paramount if let's say Paramount was in the running, they're saying it's in the running, it's going to do a bid. You think that Paramount is going to keep Warner Brothers alive?
That's crazy.
Right?
Man.
It's like you do the same thing that I do. I clearly don't need you to be around.
Yeah, right?
I just need your toys.
100%.
That's exactly why the fear-mongering was so baseless to me and very disingenuous. It was like, come on, man. All your fears that you're having about, you're basically saying you want theaters and physical media, but it's like, so you'd be willing for them to just destroy and dissolve an entire company?
Right. It's just like, people like, what do you think is going to happen? Like if Skydance, they're gonna one of them gotta go, Paramount or Warner Brothers, right? Paramount, it's like Paramount. That's right now. Paramount owns Nickelodeon, right? If they absorb Warner Brothers, what happens to Cartoon Network?
To Cartoon Network, right?
Right? You think Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network can exist in the same space? Right? One of them is just going to get absorbed, and then the other one is just going to cease to exist. Right? And it's just going to become this other thing that nobody really pays attention to, right? So the best thing you want for the company, for Netflix to get it, especially if you want to maintain the physical media and the theatrical and things like that coming from Warner Brothers and not the same players, obviously, but you want those people definitely that know how to do those. Yeah, definitely not. But
especially over at these studios.
You want the people that knows how to do those things, to do those things. And you think Paramount, they have one person that's going to greenlight projects, right?
Yeah.
What happens to that person when another person moves into the space?
Exactly,
one of them gotta go.
Right? One of them gotta go. And if you're buying this place because they were out of money and couldn't operate, what's the likelihood that any of the Warner Brothers people are going to be kept on? Just being honest, right? Like, what are we talking about?
Right. And so now you think that somehow Warner Brothers, this is my argument against Paramount in terms of the Snyderverse, right? In terms of thinking that the Snyderverse can be restored or brought back, or whatever you want to call it, over at Paramount. And they don't have enough bandwidth to make multiple DC universes and multiple they got Transformers and Ninja Turtles, bro. Like, money got to go somewhere else. They can't spend money on a possibility of this universe, right? They may not even possibility DCU. They may just throw that in the trash and be like, we'll just do our own thing, right? And you want them to go to that studio with their own IP, the things that they got to make movies off, the things that they're not going to push these things to the back burner so they can make 20 DC movies to compete with Marvel, and they're not going to do it, right? They're going to put things out there, and when something doesn't work, they're just going to stop because they have other things, right? If Warner Brothers if Harry Potter was expandable and they could expand beyond just the 5 or 7 or 10 books or whatever she wrote, and it was this big universe like a comic book, you think they would still be trying with DC? They would have stopped the same way they stopped with Harry Potter when Harry Potter was still making money for them, right? So to think that Paramount is going to go over there and they're going to bring their IP and they're going to be like, okay, Transformers is coming out. We have this new DC movie coming out. DC movie doesn't do well or whatever, and then or Transformers, and then they're gonna continue to choose to support this IP because it's a legacy IP. Probably not, right? You're just going to see other things, cartoons on TV and video games, and they're just not going to really push the movie angle unless it's Batman, right? Because that's just how it is. So, but at Netflix, they can leave the Warner Bros. Theatrical with their toys, and they can make the decisions with that because Netflix IP, all the things that Netflix own, aren't competing with them.
It doesn't compete, bro.
Right?
I'm trying to say it. They don't compete.
It just don't compete. Like,
they're lacking.
Right.
At all these spaces.
Right. Like, I can't even think of a IP at Netflix that can be a thing that, well, the DC brand isn't working that well. Let's just focus on this. I don't even know what that is, right?
And Stranger Things is ending too.
And that's a TV show, bro. And they just make another TV show. That's not competing for screen space and theatrical.
Absolutely true, bro.
You know what I mean? Like, so you want Warner Brothers to go over there, so this way you can convince them to expand the DC universe. If they go over there and supposedly James Gunn makes a good pitch deck, he's able to convince.
I want to see that, man. I want to see that.
That's hilarious,
bro. Can you imagine? Can you imagine him coming up with it, bro? Like,
I'm just using pitch deck and a good presentation about why they should still trust him with the DC.
He goes back to another hotel lobby and does another
right.
Does another
slate announcement,
another Excel presentation.
Right. The PowerPoint presentation on the TV screen that day, right? In the little room.
That was just media only, right?
Right.
Oh my god.
So, but yeah, let's say he does do that. He is convincing them, and they're like, okay, yeah, we'll keep your DCU, right? That doesn't mean that they won't go, but we also need to have this other thing, right? And maybe we'll test this thing, but this thing needs to happen for at least a short while, right? And they're gonna go, let's make a smaller movie or smaller thing, put it in theaters, see how it goes with Zack's universe, and then they can expand from there, right? Like if that was a potential idea about how to go about it, right? That's like the safe business idea. Let's just make it ideas, put it out there, see what happens. And if enough people show up to it, then we'll just go that route, right? Paramount's not going to do that. Paramount runs by the linear Hollywood model, right? You have one thing in theaters that belongs to one IP, and you burn it out until you can't make any more money in it, and then you remake it 20 years later, right? And this is the linear Hollywood model. This is why Hollywood has been. This is why Warner was afraid to have two competing universes that they were saying, right? A lot of people were saying they can't make Snyderverse, they can't do any Snyder movies in theaters because it's competing with James Gunn's DCU. And it's like, well, then which one are you afraid of dying? right? Who do you think is going to lose? Because it seems like you're afraid that James Gunn is going to lose, but then you're telling me that, you know,
as opposed to the
no
brand,
audience.
right?
Right. It's like if I take Zack's movie, right? I go, all right, Zack, make Man of Steel 2 with Henry, bring back your crew and do your whole thing. And Nolan is the producer, and they write this amazing movie, and they do it in the vision of Zack Snyder, right? And then they go to James Gunn and they tell him the same thing. Bring your boys, bring Nathan Fillion, bring your other goofballs that you know, and bring him into the movie and make this comedy, right? Because, you know, that's what James Gunn does, right? He surrounds himself goofballs and makes comedies. Not to say goofballs is negative or whatever it is. That's opinion on if you like goofballs or not, right? And there's a space for James Gunn. But let's say they did that, right?
Right.
Two movies in theaters. Based on the crowd the reaction online about what would happen with these two movies, James Gunn's fan base was afraid of Snyder's movie being in theaters next to it, right? Because the Snyder fans are saying, let's just have both. And they're like, no, we can't compete, right? And that means that you're afraid of your thing losing. If we're running in a race, you don't want me beside you in the race because I run faster than you. And you're going to be known to not be that fast if you have to be next to me, right? So
I'm
that
staying bolting this
right, like,
me?
And so when you have that, when you see that going on, why would you want the same Hollywood to take control of that again? Right? They're afraid to have competing things of the same brand in theaters at the same time. I don't even think they can think of it because nobody has probably put that idea in their head in a proper way, right? But Netflix, on the other hand, is like, we just want views, right? Their mental is a little different because of streaming. They're like, we just want views. We have this audience. We want to see if this audience works. They have their like test and see, and they do their algorithm things and whatever it is to see exactly what they can do with a person or an IP or an idea or whatever it is, right? And that model isn't the same as Hollywood's linear model. And so as DC fans, right, where you have the situation of a starting universe going on right now, and people don't want to talk bad about it or whatever it is because they want to give it the best chance possible, right? Why would you want that situation to still be alive at Paramount? Where at Netflix, you have a better chance of them going, nah, we kind of want this other thing as well, right? And we're good at not caring about competing things. Like, if anything, we have built a model where if somebody goes ahead and watches Stranger Things, we can recommend them other versions of Stranger Things in different TV shows, right? And try to keep you on the platform and things like that. And you think that mentality goes away if they're thinking about theaters? They're like, no, pack the house. Let's get 2 DC movies from 2 different directors. Let's get it going.
Why would it matter?
Why would it matter? Right? You're not going
I think, not to interrupt you, but I think you just explain in so many words why there's this snobbish sort of faux snobbish attitude about Netflix versus everybody else.
Right,
because,
right.
You know, it used to be a quality thing where people could say, oh, Netflix just kind of does, you know, random movies and we just kind of watch it because we're bored. And then the quality got way better over time. And now they are where they are, where they have
Martin Scorsese,
incredible directors.
Everybody making Netflix movies now, right?
But then you still have this era of people online. And I don't know about real life because like everybody has Netflix, right? But online, where these same people who have Netflix accounts and they still keep up with their subscriptions to Netflix, they're very snobbish towards how they speak about Netflix. And thinking about what you just said, coupled with how they are and what I know of them, I think a lot of these people are charged up by the old Hollywood models.
Right.
You know, either they've been incentivized, or it's just kind of like they grew up watching shit and they become kind of cultish about how they respond to something that doesn't move and shake the same way that the old Hollywood model does. You know what I mean?
Right. And in times, in situations like this, right, you either find out why the model works or why the model needs to die, right? And yeah, you know, I just Netflix is the place where they will be willing to take more risk, right? They'll be willing to, and this is just under the impression that they keep what James Gunn is doing, right? Like, I'm trying to be like,
yeah, bro. Hey, be diplomatic, bro. It's all good. You know what I mean? Because I think that shit about to go the way of the dodo with this motherfucker.
It's like, hey, quick question.
I have a whole copy. Yeah, go ahead.
To y'all and the chat, y'all seen that post where he looked like he was crashing out about over the question about the Riddler,
was
right?
that real? Is
I
that
need
real,
somebody
bro?
to tell me if that was real.
Yeah, is that real?
Because if that was real,
that? I
don't know the whole
about
conversation. But go ahead.
We'll get back to that. But yeah, I just think that like you want to increase your chances as much as possible, and you all right, here's an example. Knives Out, right? Knives Out comes out in theaters. It gets critically acclaimed. I saw it in theaters. It does good enough. Conversation around it is really good, but it didn't do crazy enough for them to it obviously went to Netflix for a reason, right? Like they couldn't the normal theater system didn't see it as a profitable thing to expand on, and then the creator went to Netflix. Then that's my opinion on the situation. I'm not really detailed in it, but then they put the second one on streaming.
Absolutely.
And from my understanding, the third one is now in theaters.
Yep, it is.
So right, so they tested they tested their audience. They realized that they had a bigger audience in this product than what they thought, and now they're putting it out in theaters to give it a fighting chance in theaters as well. Going back to how it was in its when they first released the first movie.
Yep.
Right.
I believe Frankenstein is going to theaters too.
Right. So to think that Netflix wouldn't buy Warner Brothers and try to figure out if they should put Zack's vision in theaters, that's the first thing they're doing. All right.
No.
It's like they're definitely going to test this thing out. Why? Because his Rebel Moon numbers was high, right?
Yep.
So they're like, wow, he did this without this is an unknown IP with no leads from no like A-list actors, and he was able to pull these type of numbers
with the Hollywood media machine either disavowing it or outright just talking shit about it,
and just ignoring it too. Like a lot of the larger channels that do trailer breakdowns, they didn't even cover Rebel Moon 100%.
Not at
they didn't
all.
Even cover it.
Act like it didn't exist.
Right. And his fan base was able to show up in the sci-fi space, and that's one of those things where people need to understand too. It's like these are numbers for a sci-fi space and a sci-fi movie that doesn't come from an already known IP or didn't have a slow burn where like the show came out, the movie came out, and then everybody was like, "Yo, this movie." And
technically,
really good. And
it was kind of competing with Star Wars a bit, not like it was out there directly to, but the fan bases kind of made it seem that way in a sense.
Yep.
So there was a lot going against whether it would be successful or not in that regard. Interesting.
Yeah, and there's definitely theories about what Hollywood thought of that or what Hollywood saw in that. And when I say Hollywood, I mean the greater Hollywood, obviously, like people on the outskirts or whatever, and what they may have felt needed to be done about Rebel Moon in terms of critical or whatever it is, right? But yeah, you think that they're not going to see that? They're not going to be like, Zack Snyder is somebody that has this fan base, and imagine the amount of numbers he could have pulled if this was an IP like DC that has its own fan base already, and now you have it's crazy to think that like they're not going to capitalize on it.
Hey, I keep telling people too, Nar, Netflix already screened Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Right.
At the Egyptian theater.
Right.
What are we talking about? Right? Like they literally screened it at the Egyptian theater. I saw it. Like we were there. Like we watched it. Right. They screened Justice is Great.
Yep. Of all out of the two, right?
Right.
Justice is Gray.
Right, because it was a test to see what kind of a fan base Zack's had. They're going to come out to see the more artistic version of a movie that's part of a greater IP, right? It sells the idea that this is my audience that comes for this thing. And even when I put it in black and white versus the color version, people are still going to show up and sell out the tickets in 1 minute or whatever it was. And Netflix knows what they have. Netflix don't need to be convinced. You know what I'm trying to say? Like now behind the scenes in terms of how much money is going to get spent and who's going to write it and which movies Zack will direct versus produce. You know, that's behind the stuff that we can whatever. But and that needs to be convinced by Zack and Debbie and then from the fans outside of there, whatever. But to think that we don't need to convince them that Zack's vision has an audience. Right, like
exactly, bro.
Why would you want to have to go down the rabbit hole trying to convince Paramount?
Right.
What are we doing? Why would you want that?
Right. Yeah, this is crazy, Nar, because it's like not only is Dan Lin the head of Netflix filming, like I said, he was at the Rebel Moon director's cuts double feature outside, moving and shaking, doing this thing, right? Having a good time. It was packed, great turnout, all that, right? Not only that, but then just recently, as I covered last night, what's his name? David Zaslav and Ted Sarandos was at the Terrence Crawford and fucking Canelo Alvarez fight, bro. Just last Saturday.
And that dude is who? Is he like the CEO of Netflix?
CEO of Netflix, co-CEO of Netflix. So it was just at the Terrence Crawford fight on Saturday. I reported on that last night, and that went viral today. Strange enough, right? But don't nobody watch my channel though.
So the president of Warner Brothers and the co-CEO of Netflix hanging out at a Netflix event.
At a Netflix event last Saturday, 100%. W Mir with the $5 super chat saying, honestly, it's the equivalent of Yugi, which is Zack, and versus Weevil, who's Gun, and they were afraid Zack's universe was Sun Guns, like in episodes 4 and 5. Bruh, y'all already know about that Yu-Gi-Oh talk, bruh. We was doing that heavy over here some months ago on Cartoons and Cereal. You dig? Much love. Let me go ahead and give you this drop, dog.
Real quick, I want to ask you not about the legalities or like the probabilities or anything like that, but can you just speak to the resolve of your fan base that now that we're trying to get this thing sold to a third party?
The fan base has consistently been amazing and consistently regardless of what I think, the fan base has their own ideas and they seem to win.
What's going on? Yeah, but what do you think that shows though, Nora, that they're at the Terrence Crawford fight, right? It was also just reported earlier too, or a couple days ago, that Paramount was actually trying to push the deal back and trying to like do it later. And it's like, bro, they're trying to do it later. Netflix is the most compelling. Ted and David Zaslav is at the Crawford and Canelo fight. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, like I said, I definitely think that Paramount is not even in the running, bro. And I think that Netflix is the one it's going to happen to. Netflix is where it's probably going to end up going. And I think that's a good thing. I think that that's the best option for us as fans. And I understand that I understand the other side, and I understand why they have their opinions, but I just think that their opinions aren't really thought out in terms of expansion.
Trapped in the moment, bro. You want to expound on that Apex Lux real quick, because he sounds like he's about to go down they almost sound trapped in the moment, bro.
Yeah, you know? I mean, I'll just keep it brief. It's just been something that I think should be reiterated more across the Syndicate network. You know, that we live in the times. I won't even go that deep. I'm gonna just say these people who have these complaints, they're always living in the moment. They're prisoners of the moment, and their brain cannot expand towards anything beyond their own emotions. They have no mental depth, they have no imagination, and they have no, what's the other word that I'm looking for?
He said no imagination.
They just don't, man. It's like I've never really, it's a weird generation to have like literal supercomputers in your hand 24/7 where you can look up information, and you have an AI that you can just ask questions to and go back and forth until you can come up with a suitable response that isn't just confined to your own biases, right? You have all these things at your disposal, and yet they're still prisoners of their own mind, their own thinking. With this thing that we did here with Zack Snyder Cell Movement, right? I wish there was a fly on the wall listening to the conversations between Sky and myself. Like, everything we're seeing now, we talked about this shit within the first couple of weeks.
Hey, that's so true, bro. These has been like the same conversations from over 2.5 years ago. That is an absolute
everything we're seeing, all 100%, these possibilities,
100%. Everything we're seeing now,
we were prepared for. We had these kind of conversations
even after the fact, bro. Even after it came back, like we got like literally everything was hashed out within 3 weeks.
Yep.
Like within 3 weeks, this ain't been nothing new except cartoons and cereal.
And I think of that as a blessing.
Couple other like little things, right? 100%.
And it takes a skill set to like, and this isn't like a bragging thing. This is like literally, it takes a skill set, like a mental skill set, to kind of teach yourself to think beyond being a prisoner of the moment of things.
T-shirts,
like when you're
trending events, bro. Literally everything.
You think about the,
you have to think about
the possibilities. Sorry. No, you're good. You have to think about the possibilities of where things can or can't go. And I think a lot of these people, for the most part, they tend to trap themselves in a negative space whenever they're thinking of things. And it's just like, it makes it easier for people like myself and Sky to kind of, you know, I don't know. To me, it makes it easier, and because it gives us a foil. Because whenever I have a foil, it makes me think sharper. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say iron sharpens iron, because a lot of these people aren't worth the damn weight of iron like that. But a foil does make you think more. You know what I'm saying? When you have opposition, it tests your skill set. So anyway, these people are prisoners of the moment, and they have no imagination. So they'll always be stuck in perpetual fake ass. What'd you call it earlier, Nar? The
fear-mongering.
Yeah, the fear-mongering crap.
Fear-mongering,
exactly.
Bro. It's crazy, man.
And like, not to stay on the subject for too long, but like, I think a lot of people are just like holding on to a specific moment and then thinking that like they can't let go of that moment. They don't want to, they'd rather go down with the ship. You get what I'm trying to say? And instead of jumping onto this new thing or this new hashtag, or not say a new hashtag, but just this new way of thinking, right? And that's just detrimental to them, to certain people, or certain in any space, right? Like you just don't want to go down with a sinking ship because of whatever petty things, or just afraid of evolution of thought, you know. And that's why, like, that's the reason why the cell hashtag was such a problem in the very beginning, to the point where the CEO had to come out and say, hey, wackiest hashtag, or whatever he said. It's the
wackiest hashtag ever, which coming from him is kind of crazy, bro.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you've seen some wackier hashtags, bro. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you've seen some wacky ones, boy.
And now in 2025, we're sitting in a conversation about Netflix's potential purchase of Warner Brothers, right? Like, and Yeah, it's just a rate of evolution of thought, to be honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just what I think about in that situation.
Yeah, and closing out on that part of the conversation, I would like to say, because I want to ask a question, and I was asking this question to Leon earlier. I was like, yo, what is it really about when we're willing to risk letting this or having this happen or not because of ego, right? Like, why would you have one company saying vehemently, I want to give you something, and then you say, no, I'm gonna run the gamble of rocking with this other platform that may or may not give me what I want? Right?
Yeah.
That just seems kind of odd to me, and I think that when we get to stuff like that, we have to start asking those kind of questions, right?
Yeah, I just think that people tend to become like a version of themselves, and they just don't want to let it go. And just, that's what I'm saying. I just don't. I can't even fathom why you would want to think you have to convince another studio to give you what you want when
we gonna convince somebody else. No,
it's literally like you're working backwards, man.
Yeah, it's like
we've
you're
been
trying
saying
to go.
this for the past few streams. It's like you have all the pieces there, all the conversations and winks and nods and outright straightforward answers that have been. Zach said he wants it several times. Zach's interacted with several posts. Zach's retweeted things. All right, cool. We got him on board. Okay, what about Netflix? Scott Stuber said some things. Netflix has laid out the red carpet for Zach and Rebel Moon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, but why haven't they announced this and that and this and that? My God, they gave the man 1,000 fucking projects. Like, can they pause for a moment? Do they have to keep rubbing his back and patting his back? Like, I'm confused. Like, damn, there are other directors. They did a shit ton for the guy that they've already proven that they can be trusted in that regard. After Warner Brothers said bye, they gave the man a home.
Army of the Dead, Army of Thieves,
good
bro,
Lord,
Rebel Moon 1, 2, director's cuts, bro.
Prisoner of the Moment,
Twilight of the Gods, bro. Like, what do we do,
crazy,
bro?
They
like,
gave this man carte blanche on an R-rated Gods cartoon where there was group sex and all sorts of crazy shit going on, and you guys are complaining,
bro. Jesus Christ showed up in that show, bro.
Facts, bro. Zach went ham. He did everything.
Crazy, bro. Literally,
this man gave.
We're bugging, bro. We're bugging.
Wild, cornographic things going on, and then fast forward to the future. Christ shows up somewhere. Like, what? And you guys are. What does Netflix think of Zach? Well, they think the world of him. They'll let him do whatever he wants. Apparently, like, and then they'll say, "All right, let's put a pause on it for a little bit and let things cool off so we can collect some money, and then we'll see if we'll greenlight some shit later." Cool, right?
And Zach got other stuff he doing, like Brawler and all types of other stuff. And it's, bro, come on,
right?
This is crazy. Wait, Mama Bear Dog with the $5 Canadian saying Netflix didn't say the more Nolan or Muschietti or Gunn. They said the more Zachary Edward Snyder, the better for Netflix. Much love. Thank you, Mama Bear. Let me go ahead
and that's facts.
Play this drop for you. You dig? Hold on, where'd it go?
Good evening. We, the unwilling, led by the unknowing, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much for so long with so little. We are now qualified to do anything with nothing.
Crazy. But let me just show this real quick too before we continue. Because I'm gonna just show this again, right? Because I think that people be getting a little confused, right? If this is Zack Snyder's Twitter, is it not Apex Lux?
That it is.
This is Zach's Twitter. Ain't that right, Nar?
Supposedly.
Cool. All right. Cool. I just wanted to make sure, right? Because I could have swore this man tweeted these hashtags, bro. I could have sworn this man tweeted these hashtags, bro. Right? Like, we really want to sit here and pretend like we don't know what's going on, bro. And Zach tweeted the hashtags. Bro, if it's good enough for... Bro, here's my final question on this whole people acting weird subject, right? If it's good enough for Zack Snyder, why is it not good enough for you? Are we going to say Zack didn't know what he was doing? Again, y'all. But hey, none of this meant anything, guys. I guess, right? Bruh, Zack ain't never stopped talking about DC, bro.
Zack tweeted that out. Was it March of this year?
He reposted that, yes. Yeah, March of this year.
And then by September of the same year, we're hearing about Netflix buying Warner Brothers.
Hey, but we got people talking about Paramount. Like correlation. They talking about Paramount, bro. They talking about Paramount. And he got the hashtags on his Twitter right now, bro.
Yeah, you don't think that there's meetings that go on months prior and why, you know, certain things are being said or even thought about. Certain things are being thought about. Why is Zack Snyder just jumping on Twitter to repost a bunch of DC things, right?
Hey, and we've been telling these people that these leaks happen, and they make it seem as though their negotiations are happening now. Pen to pad have probably already been done.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
There's been conversations happening, and
for sure.
And that's why we're hearing about Netflix trying to purchase Warner Brothers. They have their plans. They've had their conversations, right? Based on the evidence being given to us, they've had their conversations. They're talking to people.
They said the most compelling buyer out of all is Netflix.
Right.
The most compelling. They said they got that big bank.
Right. You think that came out just because, you know, like these things happen for a reason, bro. Like everything you see on the internet is not placed there by accident. You know, somebody's choosing to put this information out there. Somebody's choosing to have certain things hit certain areas and get into certain, you know, conversations. If they don't want to leak, the leak doesn't happen, right? Like we hardly ever see situations where like leaks that they wanted to not come out comes out, right? There's a whole bunch of things behind the scenes in Hollywood that you would never hear about, and you think that they can't control leaks. You know, when information is hitting your timeline, understand that it was put out there. Somebody put that out there for a reason.
Yo, real quick, this dude Dylan Byers said somebody hit him up Friday saying Netflix was involved, and his imagination started running wild when Ted Sarandos showed up with Zaz at the Crawford Alvarez fight in Las Vegas the next night. He said, my homie hit me on the jack. He was like, yo, that story you put out there about David Ellison, yo, Netflix won't end too, son. You know what I mean? And the next day, they pulled up mad deep to Crawford and for Canelo, bro. The next day, what are we talking about? And it's on Puck News, bro. He said, hey, I know you ran that story, but nah, let me tell you what's really going on. What's really going on is Netflix is the most compelling. We got W. Mir with the $5 super chat saying Netflix is gonna make him an offer Paramount can't refuse. Hey, bro, I'm just saying, bro. They said they want to push the bid back, bro. You know what I'm saying? They want to push that bid back. You know what I mean? They like, yeah, we ain't got it yet, right? Let us go get our money together, and we'll come back and rock with you.
You hear that, Mr. Anderson? That is the sound of inevitability.
Right. But yeah, I think personally that this whole thing has it's always been what was going to eventually happen, yo. Before we wrap up, I just want to show this graph because look, yo, money talks, yo. Like these people have seen what happened when Zack was in theaters and what's been happening since he's been out. And this new Superman was supposed to come, knock everybody's socks off, be this thing that was supposed to do gangbusters money. It was supposed to launch this new universe, and instead it's been DOA. They announced a sequel that don't nobody care about. It's not trending no matter what they do. Right? They have announced a Man of Tomorrow. They even stole the title of the sequel to Man of Steel, right? And still nobody cared. It still didn't trend, right? Even trying to get hate clicks still didn't work, right? So, you know, anything outside of the Batman has not been able to garner any real money recently, and you see what they're trying to do with that. So I think that, you know, this was always kind of on the table, and I don't think there was ever a point where it was off the table, so to speak. So what do you guys think on that before we start wrapping up?
I mean, I agree that, you know, this conversation from the moment, the idea of DC being part of another company, especially in Netflix, that idea has been on the table, bro. And it's been there, and that's probably what sparked the Netflix even thinking about gaining access to Warner Brothers library, right? You know, fine, I'll do it myself, kind of thing. Your idea didn't work. You know, you didn't get the Infinity Stones the way you thought you was going to get them. I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to be more effective at that. And we might be seeing like the fruits of your own labor, fruits of your labor, where you put that hashtag out and it snowballs into Netflix deciding to spend almost $30 billion on a failing studio.
Crazy, bro.
Right?
Crazy.
It's just crazy that this is happening, and I'm telling you, watch that John Campea. There's fear and people,
bro. You know what? I need a new drop, y'all. Breathe it in. It's fear.
It's fear. Right? Like I remember I watched a video. I'm not sure if you guys seen this video. This is an older video though. Not older, but it's older than this one. And it was will James Gunn keep his job when Warner Brothers is sold, right? And he's, you know, John Campea is like, oh, I'm going to give arguments on both ends. And then he gives the argument for why, you know, Warner Brothers will get rid of James Gunn. But it's all just like, well, when people get hired, when new companies get hired in, a new GM, he fires a coach and things like that because he wants his own guy. But it's nothing. It was very safe and very soft for James Gunn, right? It wasn't. There's no. Oh, maybe, you know, they don't think that the box office for Superman is enough, or there was none of that, right?
You couldn't possibly be that,
yeah, right.
You couldn't possibly be that,
right?
bro.
Like,
you don't say.
You know, once they get them Peacemaker numbers, they
700,000, by the way.
Right, like, right. We haven't got. Did we get any new updates about the episodes after? Like,
nah,
we don't know nothing.
Hey,
right?
I need to know if that was really Gunn crashing out in the comments, bro. Anybody answer
yeah,
that?
man.
Anybody
Sin Havoc, Frank C. Nobody got any answers,
bro.
Yeah.
Nar, we got a picture. I don't know if it's Photoshop, bro.
Did you find it? You gonna pull it up?
No, I don't even want to show it because I don't know if it's real or not.
True.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because, hey, bro, y'all
send it to me outside. I need to see what this picture is now.
Okay. All right. Cool.
You about to send it to him?
Yeah. Y'all go ahead and hold it down, bro.
Yeah, man. Just touching on that picture that you put up with the chart showing the fluctuation in not even the fluctuation, but the dip in sales, man. I don't know. It's always been like this, and it makes me want to talk about like the deeper like situation that we've been talking about it in terms of Hollywood, but that's a whole nother stream because like a lot of this is like the Netflix culture versus the Hollywood studio culture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like why Hollywood wants to not even just like maintain their stranglehold over entertainment because there's other studios that are around, but just like maintain the cultural aspects of it, you know, from I'm guessing like the casting couch era to all this stuff. I think there's a lot of things that go on surrounding Hollywood on a deeper level of why they want to maintain who they are and where they are. And then they got a Netflix that comes around. And I'm guessing that Netflix does not have a lot of old Hollywood heads in charge at all. And so they're kind of looking at them like you know, like that kid who they underestimated all this time that's now powerful and they're probably sick about that, you know?
Yeah, and I see a world where there's people out there who don't want this Netflix bid to go through. Yeah, of course, right? Like it's just it it changes the whole landscape of Hollywood and things like that because you put a big player in charge, and you know you don't want if you don't want that person at the round table, you try to fight that person as much as possible. But if your organization can't you can't keep it together, then that person becomes part of the round table. And if you can't maintain that table, then you lose the table, you know, and that person or whoever else takes that place. And that's a legitimate fear in Hollywood. I'm sure of it. I'm sure that if
breathe it in.
There's people out there who's like, you know, and these aren't the people who's making the decisions. I'm talking about the people who they're you know out just off of that off of that the Matrix. Like they're Agent Smith. They have Agent Smith syndrome, and they don't want the Matrix to be dismantled by Neo, right? And yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of people out there who have Agent Smith syndrome about this situation, and they're like, no, the Matrix must stay, the Matrix must stand, and everybody else who wants to dismantle that shouldn't be allowed to do so. And that goes for DC, that goes for a lot of things, right? But when you keep fighting against it, look at the chart. They've been fighting against the Matrix of DC, right? They've been fighting against the Neo of DC. And what I'm trying to say is like, you see that chart, your establishment is crumbling. Your organization is crumbling, and you're allowing it to crumble. So this way, you don't have to, you know, give into this new idea of thinking, right? I guess we're coming all full circle. This new idea of thinking, right? That's what this whole thing is about. Nobody wants to change the way they don't want to evolve in the way of their thinking. They think that their way of the way that they have been going at it is going to work, and then when it fails, they allow it to crumble around them. It's the craziest thing, but that's why Warner Brothers is in a sale right now.
You know what's crazy too, bro? Is that looking at this chart, man? Like you're right. Like we can liken Zack to Neo. Like look, everything on his side is just booming, and like as soon as you subtract him from the equation, everything just drops dramatically. It's kind of nuts. And like the Aquaman situation to me is the most telling of them all because Aquaman got a boost on the strength of Zack Snyder's name being attached and surrounded around that project.
Right.
Like quality was dope. I know, you know, there's some very staunch cinephiles that are like they sneer at that movie, but that was a good fucking movie. The third act was dope. A solid adventure movie, right? But I remember legacy media outlets, Variety, THR, Deadline, that were promoting Zack Snyder, that James Wan got Zack Snyder's blessing. They use the word blessing. And I was like, what? Y'all did all this work trying to keep this man away from these projects. And now you're using his name as like a christening, a blessing. And they were promoting that. I found that very fascinating. And then Aquaman, I'm not saying solely based on Zack, but what I'm saying is they knew using his name was going to boost the profile of that movie. So much so that they tried to pull that shit again a couple of times.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
You know what I mean? And it backfired because Zack just kind of like gave a nod to it, but he never was like, oh yeah, like he didn't do it like Aquaman. Like Aquaman, they literally said, I screened Aquaman at his house, at Zack and Debbie's house, and Zack and Debbie gave me their blessing. Like that's way deeper than saying like, oh, say something nice about Blue Beetle, and you know, say that you're gonna watch The Flash at some point. You know what I mean? Like they gave the crown to Aquaman for a moment, like, hey, and look what happens. And then all these other movies, when they subtract Zack's epic nature, his story, they get this. I'll just say one last thing about this. If y'all remember Zack's DCEU at this time, we didn't know where they were going with this stuff. I mean, we assumed that Justice League was going to obviously be formed and fight Darkseid, but this wasn't like an Infinity Stone situation where Marvel, they kind of had things mapped out, like whether they promoted it or not. If we're watching the movies, you can literally see where they're headed. Like a dude is collecting things to make a thing happen, and you got to fight him. With Zack's DCEU, it was just like we were just along for this epic ride, and we didn't really know exactly how everything was going to turn out. We knew heroes come together, fight bad guy, but we were just on some, I just want to check out where the hell this is going, because this is very interesting. And the distinction between the two, because, you know, he made those movies very distinct from the Marvel stuff, a major alternative. And we were along for the ride, man. That was incredible stuff, man.
Yeah, to think that they would just allow the collapse to happen and then keep thinking that they can achieve what they had before by doing the same thing. You know, it was just, yeah, the graph is crazy, bro. Like, and it also shows that, like you said, you removed Zack from the equation, and then the next movie is low. Like the next movie is far below anything you wanted. You didn't expect that. Y'all thought y'all was gonna build off of Aquaman. It may not hit $1 billion, but we'll nuzzle somewhere between 6 or 7. And you know, Shazam, nobody knows the character, and it makes 360 mil. And I don't know how that didn't throw them into a tailspin, bro. Like I don't even understand how they allow it to continue.
I'm gonna get back to that super chat in 1 second. I just wanted to
they
move
just
that
kept
stuff
going, bro.
so you can see what the box office results are. You can actually see these movies, right? Yeah. Shazam, Birds of Prey.
Yeah, they just kept going and going, bro. It was to the point that they were even subtracting major characters that helped other that helped the other movies in the front, like Joker, for example. They removed Jared Leto's Joker, who clearly was a huge reason why you get that number, that 747 mil in Suicide Squad. And I don't care what people say, because I've heard people say Suicide Squad was such a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. That shit was nearly 800 mil. I don't care. Like, sure, it shouldn't have existed and it was in the way, but whatever. It made a shit ton of money. People went to go see it. It was stylized. It was interesting in its own way.
Won an Oscar.
Yeah, and it was such a different, at the time, even compared to Guardians of the Galaxy, it was still different from that. It was such a different type of a movie to sit through in between all this stuff, all this crazy shit going on in the DCEU, this epic crazy shit, right? You have Suicide Squad out of nowhere that was also kind of nuts and very flawed. And then you take away the things that made it a success, and you make this like fake ass wannabe Sophia Coppola ass movie. It was such a in Birds of Prey, and then the other shit, the fake Suicide Squad 2, and then like the Wonder Woman 84. Like, good lord. And then the funny part is Black Adam comes along, and out of all these movies in the red here, it's the highest grossing of the ones in the red here. Why? Because of Henry Cavill Superman. And also The Rock, obviously. But Henry Cavill Superman definitely gave a boost.
For sure. Let me get the super chat. The Austin with the $10 saying 1 hour left, not enough shout outs. What's the chance Mikey's Superman at Christmas prediction comes true next year? Also, who's Nar's favorite superhero? Who is it, Nar?
I mean, it's definitely Batman.
Hey, we got a Batman fan in the house. You dig? All right.
Definitely Batman.
Hey, bro, Superman at Christmas, dog. For sure. We'll talk about that later, Austin. You know what I mean? Let me go ahead and key this drop. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I got all this shit hanging over my head. But you off trying to start a war with our partners.
The nigga diss me every time I see him. Acting like he the one in charge and shit.
In Compton, he is the one. You lose. Every time you bite with that nigga, and I'm the one that pays for it. And you gonna get off his corners? You gonna leave his people be? Or you the one that's gonna find yourself a new plug?
You don't mean that shit?
The fuck I don't. I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just because you don't like the way another nigga talk. Drive, motherfucker!
All right, we about to start wrapping up, y'all. First and foremost, man, I want y'all to put y'all last questions and comments down at the bottom, you know what I mean? And I want to thank these two gentlemen for coming through, man. This has been a wonderful stream, you know what I mean? First and foremost, shout out to the homie Nar.
Yo, appreciate y'all asking me to be here. You know, definitely want to do more streams. So it's not gonna be my last time here. We can just, vibe out and talk about all this drama that's happening.
Man. Hey, and we got to get on some games too, man.
Yeah, yo.
Games,
if anybody in the chat or anybody who's watching the video is into like horror games or like some variety games, definitely check out my channel over at Anonymous on YouTube. Doing big things over there. I'm trying to hit that 100K mark. So we're gonna get there. So any support, anybody who likes watching that kind of content, definitely head over there and give it a try.
For sure, man. Because I've been on some Hell Divers lately. You know what I mean? I've been getting it in on Hell Divers.
Oh, bro. I haven't played Hell Diver. I think
it's pretty intense, bro.
I know. I've heard it's gotten better. Like when they first put it out, it was good, but they had some things.
I just got it, bro. I just got it like a week ago.
Yeah, I gotta try that one out.
Dope, bro. Dope game. Man, but yeah. We're gonna do members minutes back then. You know what I'm saying? He said, you guys played Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Have you tried it yet?
I haven't tried it yet. I did see it. I definitely want to jump into it. I didn't try it out. But I haven't gotten time to like game on the side. And it's not one of the games I'll probably put on my channel, but yeah, I definitely want to try that one out.
Have you tried Ready or Not yet?
I have. I used to I was trying it out as it was being developed. And, I'm more of a controller person.
I got you. I am too, bro.
Yeah. So when Ready or Not was just coming, they didn't have no controller support. So I was just struggling with the keyboard, and I like a mouse with the better aiming, but sometimes I'll be pressing the wrong keys and then I'm bugged out, bro.
Yeah,
so,
I'm definitely more of a
but they
controller guy myself too, 100%.
Yeah, they definitely got the control support now, but I haven't checked it out since they had it up there. But I used to be playing it before too. So
all right, so what you been playing recently?
I have been on my channel. I've just been playing a lot of like indie horror games or nothing specific. I did try the new Digimon game. I got a few horror games to play, but on the side, Cyberpunk whenever I get a chance.
Oh man, I love that game, bro.
Yeah. So I'm on that whenever I get a chance. I throw that on. If I'm not like,
what was your first run through as a corpo or street kid?
I'm still on my first run through, bro, and it's corpo.
He went corpo first time. Hey,
first time.
I went street kid, bro.
I went corpo the first time, and then I didn't go far at all. I was like, I can't do this. And I went street kid. Bro.
Yeah, I went street kid, and then I'm like, you know what? I want to give myself. I normally would pick street kid, but
I got you.
Let me try something else. And
try something different, right?
Yeah,
Cyberpunk's a crazy game, bro. I love that game, bro.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Right, 100%. He said my favorite horror game is Condemned and Criminal Instincts, bro. I remember that game on the 360, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But yeah, we'll do members minutes. You dig? So y'all chill for 1 second, and we'll be right back with the members minutes, and then we'll get the final thoughts and get on out of here.
They say all I care about is views. They say all I care about is views. They say all I care about is views. But what about you? What about you? Came a long way from no subs back when y'all was showing me no love, no front. I just had to take a look back, cause sometimes y'all forgot I shook that. I know they would attack cause of own issues. To be honest, I got sick and tired of feeling misused. That's why I've always played a drop for every super chat to show appreciation. Now you're fucking doing that. And just like Mikey used to bring us all together, we gotta take a minute to shout out all the members.
Hey, much love. Thank you. We back with members minutes. We got the homie Bat Dan saying caught the end on replay. This is even better than what we ever imagined when you first created the sale hashtags. Instead of just licensing 2 movies, Netflix has the potential to get the entire WBD company. Thank you guys for always keeping it real. For my Batman Day, don't forget to trend make the Batfleck movie, not hashtag format. Hashtag sell ZSJ to Netflix, hashtag sell Snyderverse to Netflix, and tag Netflix and artist equity. Shout out to the homie Bat Dan's thoughts. You dig? We got the homie, the good Austin saying hashtag replay crew. I don't want Netflix. I want Paramount because Netflix cancels too many shows midway through. Man, if these fucking dweebs don't shut it all the fucking way up, I swear to the Holy Spirit and Mama Mary. Much love to the good Austin. You dig? Let's see. And I think that might be it for members minutes. For real. Yep, that is it for the members minutes today. You dig? Now, any final thoughts before we get out of here? First, let me give Nar the platform, and then we'll hand it on over to Apex Lux. You dig?
I mean, we're seeing the results of a hashtag, and we need to all stand behind it. To be honest, like I said, it's my opinion. It is the best option because companies, if you want things to go the way you want to go to the people who already want you. I just don't understand going somewhere else and trying to convince them to let you in. You know what I mean?
Well, they knocking on the door like Pattinson's Batman was outside the club, and they like, nah, you can't get in, bro. Like, you can't
get in. And yeah, I just think that we all should, stand behind Netflix, but don't try to give up the fight if it does go to Paramount or go to some other studio. You definitely want to be heard and disrupt enough to get them to have the conversation. But Netflix, we did it, and Netflix was already trying to have the conversation. I think that we should, finally be in a position to have the conversation back, to be honest.
For sure, man. I really do appreciate that, Nar. And I made sure to tag you in the title. Y'all make sure to go on over there and give Nar a subscribe, man.
Yes, sir.
This is the big dog, you know what I mean? And yeah, bro. You know, it's funny, Nar. I don't know if you watched the stream from the other day, but I did a reaction to me when I first announced the hashtag.
Oh, bro, yeah, I was there.
That damn stream was so crazy, bro. Ain't that crazy that I literally said all this stuff back then? That's wild, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I it's funny. I never really thought about how the hashtag trended. I didn't even know that, you set it on a live stream, woke up next morning, and it's out there in the world like that. And then it started really disrupting a lot of conversations that was happening outside of just X or whatever you want to call it. And to the point, like I said, you had the CEO of DC come out and try to dismantle the hashtag because he had to address David Ayer's Suicide Squad just so he can talk about a hashtag that had
facts,
nothing to do
bro.
with him. You know what I mean?
Crazy, bro.
It was like you wasn't in that moment when that hashtag was birthed. It wasn't a conversation with Warner Brothers. It was a conversation with Netflix,
right, bro?
Right?
We had the ROEs within a few days,
right?
So we was already not talking to them, bro. Literally everything that and by the time that article came out or he said what he said, we had been stopped talking, bro. Wasn't nobody talking to them. We were never talking to them. We were never speaking to them. So that's even weirder that he felt the urge to get out there and try to talk about it because we weren't talking to him.
Right. And then the people you were talking to responded.
Yeah, it was I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Right. And coming out and people saying, people saying things like, well, James Gunn is the CEO of DC. Yeah, yes. Warner Brothers needs to be sold. If you guys are not paying attention, there's a reason why he made it very clear that his DCU was separate from Zack's DC universe or the Snyderverse. Not talking DCEU. I'm talking the Snyderverse.
Right, not the DCEU as a whole, but the specific four movies. For the Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, and ZSJL.
Right.
And if we're even being more scrutinized, Man of Steel, BVS, ZSJL.
Right. I see the Snyderverse as I'm talking about as the vision and the art and the vision of Zack Snyder's movies and the storyline I was being told.
Nar started smiling when he said that. I heard it, bro. He was like, Rock, he was just thinking about that shit. This shit's about to be epic, bro.
Right. And we're now in the position where the idea from that hashtag or that conversation with Netflix can be a reality, right? We weren't speaking to Warner Brothers. We were speaking to Netflix because Netflix can then do the conversation, having a conversation with Warner Brothers. That's not our job to have a conversation with Warner Brothers, right? And you guys saw the opportunity with Netflix because Zack was over there, and then they're like, yeah, if we can get those, we can get the license to those characters, we will definitely do it. And now they're like, well, we're just buying the whole thing.
I bought the bank type shit. They I bought the bank type shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Literally.
They were like, how did you do this? I bought the bank.
And it's just like, you know, I think that like that is the best conversation. We never had a conversation with Paramount. Paramount never responded and said, "Hey, we want to do that too."
Yeah, right. They could have.
Never did. They could have. They could
could
have done it. They could have been like, "Hey, if we
They
had
all
a
could have.
Yeah, anybody could have, because the hashtag was part of the conversation, you know. Or maybe they did have those conversations behind the scenes, right? Like I said, there's a reason why Zack's universe is still being kept preserved, even though they did a whole reboot, right? Like they're making it very clear that this, like James Gunn had to respond when everybody was like, "Oh, he killed the Snyderverse because he retconned a one episode of a TV show," and all of a sudden now the whole Snyderverse is completely gone, right? And then
say, "Get your ass out there and go debunk this shit right now."
Right? Like he killed a universe by retconning one episode of a TV show that barely was connected to the universe to begin with, and in the
was
same
barely
season,
connected to the audience too, by the way.
Right. And the whole premise of Peacemaker is that there's multiple universes, and somehow they thought that this was he's killing a universe, and then James Gunn had to come out to be like, "Yeah, no, I didn't," right? Because he knows that lowers the selling value of a company when you go,
bro.
that universe that you wanted to probably bring back is dead now. Well, then I'm not buying your company.
Hey guys, the Tooth Fairy ain't real. You know what I'm saying? Santa Claus is. Hey, I'm just playing for all the kids out there.
Right. So it's very clear that James Gunn's was purpose is to separate his universe from Zack's, and also say that Zack's still exists in some multiverse capacity or whatever. And yeah, I just think that you go
pocket
to the
universe, right?
Yeah, now it's a pocket dimension, right? And DC fans are okay with this.
Oh my god, bro!
Get your hands out my pocket.
Oh,
right. We no
bro,
longer talk
that
about
afro
multiverse.
was irredeemable, bro. I ain't even gonna front, dog. That was crazy.
The what?
That afro, bro.
Oh man,
that afro was crazy in that movie, bro. I ain't even gonna front.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's my closing thoughts. Definitely stand behind Netflix. You know, I hope that that's where this all leads to. And then we can continue an ongoing conversation instead of trying to make new ones.
Yeah, bro. Because if it goes to Netflix, it's over with. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's over with. You know, everybody can try to be like, but I still need to wait for it. I don't care. If they buy WBD, we know what's coming. I ain't about to get on here and be like, "Oh, hey guys, look, man. I really need you guys to get out there and announce this thing ASAP." Just go get the company, bro. Once you get the company, I know what's up.
We're gonna do a fundraiser for a truck. And we're gonna have a petition for start the Snyderverse on Netflix after they
Oh my god, bro. Hey man, y'all be sure to hit that donation link. You know what I mean? Pass the plate, right past the collection. Anyway, I'm sorry, bro. But come on, yo. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's a very easy equation. Just let Netflix buy the company, and then we'll, like I said, continue the conversation instead of trying to make a new one with a whole new company. Is the best. This is the best route, especially for Snyder fans. And I just Warner Brothers don't have much say in the situation, right? It's all about who's going to pay the most money.
They got big bank take little bank. The most compelling, right? We got Jmar 412 saying Netflix already releases physical releases for some of their series, i.e. Castlevania and Arcane, and Stranger Things, and Sandman too, right?
Yep,
Apex Lux.
Yep, I was saying that online to naysayers, and I was using one of the accounts as a conduit to talk to everybody because, like Nar was saying, there was a lot of fear-mongering going on. Like, oh my God, we're never going to get physical media ever again. This is going to destroy everything. Like, come on.
Well, actually, guys, Netflix, they don't do physical media.
And literally the only reason that they don't for a lot of their stuff is because, like, yo, who's gonna buy like 90% of the shit that's on Netflix right now in physical media? Like, come on, man. Who's gonna do it? And it's not me knocking Netflix. That's just saying anybody with a studio with an extended library, they're not like everything doesn't get bought. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the things that they know are going to get purchased, they have on physical media. That would be Sandman. That would be Voltron when they had it. Stranger Things.
Castlevania, Arcane, like he just said, right?
Yeah. There's things that get put on physical media. Like, hello. So again, you can't think short-sighted. You can't be a prisoner of the moment. You have to think about the possibilities. Every time Netflix has had the opportunity to expand and go bigger, they do it. We're talking about a company that started off with freaking DVDs.
Right. If Netflix buys WB, they might fuck around and put Rebel Moon in theaters for a little bit. Why not?
Of course they are.
Why not?
Yeah. Think about it. Think about the beginnings of Netflix. It was discs in your house. Okay. Went from discs in your house to streaming to theaters, from theaters to physical media. They just keep expanding. They're not shrinking, they're getting bigger and they're doing more. They're becoming more and more like a traditional studio than the opposite. Literally. So come on.
Yep. Go ahead and cook though, Leon, because I was gonna let you have your final thoughts too.
Yeah, closing thoughts are that, you know, your founding fathers have spoken. Stop bullshitting. Hashtag sell ZSJL to Netflix. Hashtag sell Snyderverse to Netflix. This is the way. And y'all know it. I mean, look, there are people online that were jokingly and seriously saying, man, FWB. Somebody just needs to sell WB. Somebody needs to buy WB. Well, they're doing it.
So remember when they were like, sell the sell hashtag can't be real, but you're not going to sell the characters. You're going to just license it. You should change the license. Well, the characters are being sold.
Right.
The hashtag still sell.
Right. but couple that with this, they were also saying angrily that somebody needs to come and buy Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers don't know what the hell they're doing anymore. Blah, 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 blah. So come on, guys. Like, they're doing it. What's the problem? I grew up a Warner Brothers kid, which is a weird thing to say because it's always been like you're a Disney kid, a Nickelodeon kid, a Fox kid. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up liking all that stuff too. But when I saw that gold shield with the WB on it, I knew I was about to see some ill shit. And it started with Batman. Batman was always like my through line into this. Sitting in theaters and I'm watching Michael Keaton put on that cape and cowl. That gold and blue shield pops up on the screen, and that that shit is like embedded in my mind, bro. And my mind associates Warner Brothers, Batman. And then from there it was just like all the great hits coming from Warner Brothers, right? And then all of a sudden 10 years of a stretch of just bullshit when this company was like the best studio for years, bro. The best. They had everything, man.
Like just remember you WB11, bro.
Oh, you talking about the channel?
Yeah, like it's still like you seen this Warner Brothers logo everywhere, bro.
Yeah, bro. I was mad when they became CW.
Yeah, me too.
That's such a stupid thing for me to be mad at too. Like, I literally was a Warner Brothers kid. I was like, oh shit, because I couldn't stand Disney, bro. I don't know why I could not stand Disney. I don't know. I just couldn't. Like, I watched like
in a black suit. Yeah, that's true too, bro. They put Batman in a black suit.
Yep. I couldn't stand Disney, bro. And I was always like, yo, Warner Brothers is like very competitive and they cooked Disney. They had everything. Like they were very neck and neck. And Warner Brothers just overtook them in certain ways. And then when they started getting in bed with like theme parks, it was a wrap. So it was like Bugs Bunny to Mickey. You know, they didn't have any superheroes. So it was always Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, blah, 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 Justice League. And then Disney had nothing. So it was always like, yo, we whooping their ass. Yep. And I'm a DC guy too. Yep. And then all of a sudden it was like everything changed, man, within the past like decade or so, where it's just like slowly but surely they started to tank everything that made Warner Brothers, man. Looney Tunes, DC, and just, you know, specifically Superman, Batman, because that was their bread and butter. And then like every other really dope film franchise surrounding that just started to tank. They did that stupid Lethal Weapon show. What was that other thing that they were doing? That's Warner Brothers related. Just everything, man. What happened?
I'm like, the irony of that stupid Lethal Weapon show being brought up right now.
Yeah, bro. It's just yeah.
You know,
sure.
you know.
Unconsciously, right? And it's like it's like, man, Warner Brothers used to be that go-to, bro. And y'all, I don't know if y'all remember this, and I'm gonna wrap up, but I don't know if y'all remember this, but like you stupid. Warner Brothers, like Disney was not competitive at all. They had like no male audience. Like once you got past Darkwing Duck and Rescue Rangers and shit, and you kind of aged out of that, they had nothing.
Let's get dangerous. Darkwing Duck. Oh, that was my shit, bro.
Yeah, bro.
If you get in trouble, just call DW.
And Disney fumbled that, bro.
Oh my god.
They had the male audience, bro. They had me as a kid. They had Rescue Rangers. Like they had it all, bro. And Disney fumbled.
Animaniacs, bro. Pinky and the Brain.
That's Warner Brothers. That's Warner Brothers. Think about that. Those are the brands that I was thinking of right there.
Gargoyles,
cartoons on lock. Who?
What the fuck? Gargoyles? What are we talking about, bro?
That's Disney.
Gargoyles was Disney?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was Disney.
All right.
Oh, 100%. I know it is. See, that's the thing. Like,
let me shut up. See,
all these competing,
I'm getting too
different.
I'm getting too in my fucking nostalgia right now. I'm sorry,
but that's the thing. Shit was popping, bro. Like it was back in the day when like everybody kind of stayed in their lane and they poured a lot of innovation, ingenuity, and imagination into these things, right? And it was just dope. It just felt like it didn't feel so corporate, and there was a lot of corporate shit going on, but like this shit became so egregiously corporate the more and more they started mining these brands and these IPs to the point that when you get to a Zack Snyder, when you get to a Francis Lawrence, when you get to the Wachowskis, right? And I'm naming these names specifically, the Nolans of the world. These are people who, when they touched Warner Brothers comic book franchises or the IPs or the books or whatever stories they were doing, they made it epic and they made it feel important. And every time Warner Brothers has gotten away from that, it's done nothing but floundered. But that is because Warner Brothers, unfortunately, is a studio as great as they have been. They also have a dark side to them, no pun intended, which is like this thing where they pretty much eventually they're gonna tank themselves. They do it all the time. And especially with the Superman franchise, because they know they have to churn out one Superman movie per 10 years, I think, in order to keep it in their wheelhouse. It's like I don't know if they really like what they have anymore. And I don't think the people in charge really know what to do with this stuff. So at this point, man, sell WB to Netflix. Hashtag sell Warner Brothers to Netflix. You know, it's a wrap.
Oh, it's happening. This thing is happening.
And so, because I want I want to be a Warner Brothers man again, yo, but in a different sense, because they got a lot of shit over there that I liked. And I'm not even saying you got to be all nostalgic and reboot and rejigger everything and restart everything and all this other. I ain't saying all that. What I'm saying is like they're sitting on stuff that they could be doing stuff with.
100%.
And they're just simply not for whatever freaking reason. And Netflix is a place that is ever evolving. And people want to pretend like it's not for various different reasons that we've already talked about. But guess what? The inevitability has already occurred.
Yeah.
The future, it's already rooted, man. It's a wrap.
The future has taken root in the present.
100%.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Crazy, bro. Yeah, man. I think first of all, I want to thank you two gentlemen for joining me on this stream. This has been super dope.
You're welcome, bro.
It's been a fantastic conversation. And I am really appreciative of y'all taking the time out and having this conversation with the kid. You know what I'm saying? This has been super dope. In closing, for me, I just want to say to everybody that, you know, has been really putting their opinions online and saying how they think this is going to kill the theatrical experience and what have you. I'm like, you know, if I don't care what y'all got to say, y'all think Netflix care about all that, man? Like, bro, come on, yo. Like, let's just keep it a buck, bro. Let's just keep it a buck, bro. Like, the blueprint is there. Y'all can see what they about to do. I literally laid the whole thing out for you guys. How they're about to use this thing as a backdoor into theaters and into the theatrical experience, which they've been trying to get into, like Nar pointed out earlier. And they had been failing to do so, right? They had been failing to be taken seriously in the Oscars in a lot of aspects, right? And that's why they had to start putting their stuff in theaters in the first place, right? Because they were mandating theatrical runs, right? So they started putting their stuff in there for that anyway. They've been trying to break in. This is their way in, and I think that them bringing back Zack Snyder to do this DC stuff is how this conversation got started. Absolutely. And I want to thank everybody that was rocking out from the beginning. You know what I mean? I know it must feel super special to still be here and to have never wavered, you know. But I think Nara asked you know, how did I feel about this earlier? And it's like, yeah, man, I feel damn good about it, Nar. Because I knew, bro, we knew what was happening. Like, it was literally on that stream, bro, when I announced it. It's crazy how prophetic all that was. It's crazy. I was literally just saying, hey, maybe we can drum up enough, you know, noise and they can start having some fucking discussions, right? And then it's like, that's exactly what happened. But we had no idea how far that the rabbit hole actually went. And, you know, I just want to say thank y'all for rocking out. And yeah, man, it's been amazing. Bad Dan says, Sky, you still doing a stream reacting to that Campion video? Yes, it will be at a later date. I'm going to just say that. Make sure your notifications are turned on, all right? But any other words before we get out of here, gentlemen?
Bang.
Belt to ass.